Good morning, students of class 7. Welcome to history class. We are reading chapter 10, and today we are going to start section B, Japan. Now, section 10.8, Japanese society and feudal economy in early medieval times. The early Japan was composed of a number of ruling family groups or clans. The head of the clans were the rulers of various regions. Each clan had at its disposal landed property and occupational groups. The position and trade of the members of these groups were determined by those of their fathers. The occupational groups were subordinate to the clans. Below the clans were these groups were the slaves. So, before the emperors, Japan had a system of clans, each made up of people that were related to each other by either blood or marriage and a common ancestor. And after clans came these occupational groups who were engaged to different kind of jobs, and below them were slaves. So that was the structure of society of early Japan. But the people belonging to different clans worshipped a common god and claimed a common ancestor and were under a common chieftain. The leading clan was the imperial family, which had its head the emperor. Now, so there were different clans or group of people in Japan, in early Japan. But this clan, this Yamato clan, was the stronger than its neighbor. So, Yamato clan of central Japan was stronger than its neighbors, and its leader enjoyed the prestige of an emperor. So, where is this clan located in Japan? So, the emergence of this central governing power in the west of Japan centered around Yamato province. So it is from this clan the first emperor of Japan came. Now in this map, the location which is highlighted with yellow in color is what Yamato province is. It was in this location that a local clan began to consolidate its power and establish its claim as the imperial bloodline of the nation. So, from this Yamato clan came the first emperors of Japan. Jimmu Tenno, the founder of Yamato clan, was the descendant of sun goddess according to legendary account. And the rise of Yamato clan, however, did not challenge the autonomous rights of other clans. Thus, there was no centralized monarchy in early Japan. Why there was no centralized monarchy? Because there were different clans. Several clans were there and who existed together in the land of Japan. But it is from this Yamato clan, who the clan which was the most powerful among all other clans, came the first emperor whose name was Jimmu Tenno. Now there was a close link between ancient Japan and China. China is a neighboring country of Japan. The early Japanese always had some indirect contacts with China. But from the 6th century onwards, the Japanese recognized the superiority of the Chinese civilization. Also, they actively sought to make much of it their own. So, when Japanese realized that Chinese civilization was superior to that of their own, they wanted to learn something from China and adapt their culture, their way of governance as their own. It was through China that Buddhism was introduced in Japan. Many of the converts went to study in China and came back as the most devoted missionaries of the Chinese culture. Through intimate contacts with China, the transformation in the cultural and political life of Japan also came about. The Japanese method of writing, language, and literature were enormously influenced by the Chinese language and literature. So, in different sectors, we see the influence of China on Japan. The contact of China brought about spectacular changes in the structure of the state. And the most important thing to mention over here while discussing about the connection or the relation between China and Japan, we need to mention these diplomatic missions that were taken during Prince Shotoku. In the early 7th century, from the time of Japanese Crown Prince Shotoku Taishi, various administrative reforms were introduced following the model of China. So, what this prince did, he sent some of his representatives to China, and it is from China that they learned the political and administrative systems of China. And after learning those, he applied the same in his region, that is in Japan. The reforms aimed at creating loyalty to emperor, establishing the rule of law and bringing eligible persons in the government. Through the reforms like Taikwa or Great Reform in 645 AD and Taihop or Great Treasures in 710 AD, central administration on the pattern of Tang China was set up in Japan. So from China, this Japanese learned how to make administrative system. What kind of administrative system they will adapt, that they learned from China. Because in Japan there was no strong central administrative power at that point of time. So from China they learned it, because in China there was this imperial rule going on for a very long time. So mainly from Tang China, that means the China during this rule of Tang dynasty, they learned it. The civil and military activities were completely separated. The military officials could no longer interfere in the civil responsibilities. And this distribution of power of military officials and civil officials, this thing Japanese learned from China. Now legally the emperor became the owner of all lands of the country, and with all these things the power of emperor increased. And with gaining in power through different types of reforms, the emperor also retained his original character of Shinto high priest of Japan's divine origins. And what is that? The emperor of Japan became the chief priest and also absolute secular ruler at one and at the same time. So, from China, Japan learned so many things. They imported so many ideas from China, and that time they included the structure of the state bureaucracy, the layout of palaces, and the renaming of deceased emperor using a posthumous reign name. All these things they learned from China. Now you read this section from your book and see whether you are having any difficulty understanding it or not. If you have any problem, you can send your query in the given mail ID. Thank you.